So in today's video, I'm going to be making a bubu lace with this lace, but I'm going to be drafting the pattern first on paper so that you can see it clearly. Then before we now explain with the lace. So once you have your lace, assuming this is a lace, you have the full measurement like this, 120 inches. Then you fold it into two like this and then fold it again. That way you have the front and the back separate so that we'll be able to cut the neckline. So I'm going to be using a sample paper to explain. Sorry, I lost some parts. Now you measure the back neckline, you use your French curve and then you cut it out. After that, you measure the front neckline and then you mark it. But before you cut it out, you have to separate the back so that you don't make the mistake of cutting both of them, and then you cut the front. Then after that, you spread it out like this, and then this neckline, you're going to be having a embroidery. So once you have cut the neckline like this on the lace, you send it to embroidery. And then when you are back from embroidery, we now continue. Then you lay out your lace like this on the right side. So this is the middle part. You take note of the middle part. We are going to be sharing the measurement on the left side and then on the right side, because those kind of lace style, we are sewing in front of the lace. So the next thing, you want to take the measurement, half of the measurement, because now our lace is folded into two, so we are not dividing by 4 anymore, we are not dividing by 2. So you measure your shoulder, from your shoulder to the bust, shoulder to the waist, and then shoulder to the hip. So from the shoulder, you first of all mark the sleeve opening. You determine your sleeve opening. It can be around the bust area. So you mark shoulder to bust, shoulder to waist, and then shoulder to hip. So we'll also repeat on the other side, shoulder to bust, shoulder to waist, shoulder to hip, so that we can have a straight line. So just connect those lines together, or those dots, to create lines, as you see me do. So we're going to label our patterns, but we're going to highlight it again so that the lines can be visible. So this is the bust line, the waist line, and then the hip line. So just go ahead and label your pattern. This is the bust, this is the waist, and then this is the hip line. Mind you, don't use marker on your lace, so use chalk. So we are going to be imputing our measurements. Like I said, we are dividing our measurements by 2. So we are dividing by 2. So our measurement is going to be at the middle. So from the center, you mark quarter of the measurement of the bust measurement to the left and quarter of the bust measurement to the right. On the waistline, you mark quarter of from the center, quarter of the bust measurement to the left, quarter of the waist measurement to the right. You do same for the hip. From the center, quarter of the waist measurement to the left, quarter of the waist measurement to the right. And then we are going to connect those dots together. So connect the bust to the waist, to the hip, and then to the full length. So I'm just doing that with my free hand. So whatever you have on this waist, on this hip line, you extend it to the hem. You extend it to the hem. So you connect the bust to the waist, waist to hip, and then to the hem. So our body is not straight or like this, so you have to blend it out. So use your fresh curve to blend it out so that it follows the curve of the body. So you do same for the other side. Use your French curve to blend it out. So this is the sleeve opening. So our stitching will start from the bust line and then like this. So I'm going to be showing you how to spread the lace. So this is the lace folded into two, the full length. Our length is 60 plus 1, that is 61. So I'm cutting off the excess. Before you do this on your floor, make sure your floor is clean. So this is 122. So just like I demonstrated on the paper, you fold into two first, and then you fold into two first lengthwise. Fold it into two, or is it widthwise now? Whichever. And then you go ahead and now fold into two so that the front and the back can be separated. So take this to the table now. So this is the front and then this is the back. So you're going to be cutting out the neckline. It's a very simple bubu. So you take your neck measurements, the neck, you mark your neck width, and then I'm going to mark the neck depth of the back first. We are using 2 inches as our neck depth. The neck width is 4 inches. So you just use a fresh curve to connect that. We are cutting with the back neckline first. The back neckline, the depth is 2 inches. So you go ahead and cut it out. So this is for a plus person. So the next thing is to now mark the front neckline. Our front neck depth is 7 inches. So place your tape, take note that you have cut out 2 already, and then go ahead and mark 7 inches. Then you connect it to the shoulder or to the neckline. You connect it to the neck width. Is a V neckline, so you can decide your own neckline. So we are going to cut it out. So before you cut it out, you raise the front pattern to cut. Don't cut both of them. So after cutting like this, we send it for embroidery. So this is after embroidery. We have done with the neckline. See how beautiful it is. The embroidery guy did a neat work. So we are going to be taking our measurements now on the right side of the bubu, because we are stitching on the right side of the bubu. So you determine your sleeve opening. My sleeve opening is 12 inches. So mark your sleeve opening. So I'm going to be using pins. This is white lace. I wouldn't want to stain it. So I'll just use pins to indicate where the marks are. So I'll do it on both sides. So the next thing is to determine my shoulder to the bust, shoulder to the waist, and then shoulder to the hip. So I'm going to impute shoulder to the bust measurement, shoulder to waist, just mark it. So we're going to input in our measurements now. Remember on the paper when we mark from the middle, so our measurement is going to be at the middle. Shoulder to bust line, this is shoulder to bust. So use your pins to indicate. So just mark it and connect it like I showed you with the paper, and that will be all. After that, you go ahead and fold it down. So fold it down with 1 inch, and that will be all. So we are going to now work on the camisole. So I folded my patterns into 2. The full yard is 36, so I just folded into 2, that is 18. This is 2 yards of lycra lining, or what we call stretchy lining. So I folded it into 2, that is into 4, into 2, into 2. Okay, so I'm going to mark the neck width and then the shoulder. For the neck width should be wider than the lace by 1 inch. So if you use 4 inches for the lace, you use 5 for the camisole so that it will not show. And then for the neck depth, we use 7 inches for the lace, so we are going to use 8 inches for the camisole. For the back, we are using 3 inches. You know, the back, the lace is 2 inches, so the back of this camisole will be 3 inches, so that it will not show, the neckline will not be showing on the lace. So for this camisole, we are using 3 inches for the back neckline, and the neck width, you are making it wider than the lace with 1 inch. So I'm going to be cutting with the back neckline first. Then we have our shoulder slant of 1 inch. The way you draft your basic bodice pattern, that is how you draft this. The only difference will be on the neckline. So the next thing is to mark the armhole depth. So mark the one that corresponds with yours. And then on that line, we put in quarter of the bust measurements so that we can get the armhole length. And then whatever you have from shoulder to that chest line, you impute it on the other side so that we can have a straight line. So this is now the chest line. Then I'm now connecting the armhole depth. Sorry, is a white lining, and the chalk, it's stretchy, so it doesn't accept the chalk mark so well. But just follow my hand how I am doing it, and you understand. I'm sorry that you cannot see, that the marks are not so visible, but if you pay attention, you will understand what I'm doing. So on the bust line, we'll mark the bust circumference divided by 4. On the chest line, the bust circumference divided by 4, so that we can get our armhole length. So this is the back armhole length. So the next thing, we're going to impute our measurements: shoulder to bust, shoulder to waist. We are going to mark shoulder to bust line, shoulder to waist line, and then shoulder to hip. So from the shoulder, mark shoulder to bust. With your tape still there, mark shoulder to waist, and then shoulder to hip. So from the waist, the shoulder is 8 inches or 9 inches, depending on how tall your customer is. So you repeat same for the other side so that we can have a straight line. Shoulder to bust, shoulder to waist, shoulder to hip line. So we can have a straight line. So once you've marked that, you just connect it. So now we're going to impute our bust circumference divided by 4. And then we add 1 inch for ease, and then we'll add 1 inch for seam, or 2 inches for ease and 1 inch for seam. We'll repeat same for the waistline. Quarter of the waist measurement plus 1 inch for ease and then 1 inch for seam. We'll repeat same for the hip line. The camisole is supposed to be free on the body. The hip line, quarter of the hip measurement so we don't have much there, so I'll just connect there straight down. So you just connect the bust to the waist and then the waist to the hip. This is for a plus size person. So next thing is to cut it out. So just follow my hands. This is the shoulder slant, the armhole depth, the armhole length or the armhole curve, and then the side. Next is the back neckline and then the shoulder slant. After that, to separate the back and the front piece. So you remove the back piece so that you can recut the front neckline. So you can use your pin at this time so you can stabilize the fabric. You can keep your fabric in place. So next now is to mark the front neckline. Remember, we are using 8 inches. So you mark it and connect to the neck width. Connect it to the neck width. So use your French curve to connect it. So after connecting like that, just confirm that the measurement is correct, then you cut it out. And then the armhole, we are going to go in by 1/2 inch. So you recut the front armhole from the middle with 1/2 inch. So you slant your hand from the top, cut into the middle, and then curve your hand out. So we are through with the cutting. It's as simple as that. So the next now is to join the two shoulders together, the front and the back. We'll place it on each other like this, and then we join it at the shoulder with 1/2 inch. So this is it after joining it at the shoulder. The next thing, I'm going to use the cutting bias to turn the neckline. So you can start from the back side, from the middle of the back. You sew on the right side first. Remember, the cutting bias is folded quarter, half, and quarter. So you sew it round. on the right side, after which we'll now turn it inside and now on the stitch. We are also going to use the cutting bias to turn the armhole, but first of all we'll need to check the shoulder measurement if we are okay with it. So this is the neckline I've turned into the cutting bias. So the shoulder is too wide. We're going to trim off the excess. I want the shoulder to be 2 inches, and then we'll add ½ inch seam allowance, making 2.5. So right now I have almost 3.5, so I'm going to trim off the excess. So the shoulder width should be 2 inches, and then you should have ½ inch for seam. So I'll use my tape, mark 2.5. So I have 1 inch extra, so I'm going to trim that off. The camisole is not supposed to fall from the shoulder, it's supposed to sit on the shoulder. So I'll just trim that in, blend it into the armhole. So I'm going to cut off the excess. And then I now use the cutting bias to now turn to finish the armhole. So start with the right side as well, sewing with 1/4 inch. Start from one end to the other end. After that, you flip it inside. So this is what it looks like after sewing. So the next thing now is to join the side of the camisole. Simple, right? So please comment on the comment section below. Let me know what you think about my video, and please share, like, and above all, please subscribe. This is Joydala Fashion Guide. So we're going to join the side with 1 inch seam allowance. So you just take it straight down. After that, you fold it down twice and we are through. So here is the camisole looking so sweet on the mannequin. We are going to be adding the lace on top. So here is the lace on the camisole. Isn't it beautiful? Please comment below. Let's know what you think about the video. Please like my videos, share my videos, and please subscribe to my channel. This is Joydala Fashion Guide. Thanks for watching.